And we're back with the PCC Multiverse. My name is Gerald Glassford from the Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We truly appreciate everyone listening out there. We just want to thank everyone for being part of the PCC Multiverse every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on the Podcast Radio Network. And don't forget to catch our Monday show, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific. It's the Pop Culture Cosmos Show, the #1 rated show for the past 3 months on the Podcast Radio Network. And if you can't catch our shows live there, hey, no problem. You can download our shows at any time on 11 different streaming outlets. So I just want to make sure everybody out there gets wind of this, because I turned on to some great stuff right here when I was looking through social media and whatnot. I got this advertisement through Facebook for this great novel series called Syndicate Wars. And if you're watching the video and you see Master Chief sitting right behind me, you can tell that I'm into those great Space Marine, big, well, as they put it, space opera. So I had to get these guys on the show. I've got 2 of the 3 authors that are part of the Syndicate Wars series, the Syndicate Wars series. I've got today Justin Sloan and George Mahaffey. Guys, thank you so much for being part of the PCC Multiverse.
Thanks for having us.
We're excited to be here. Thanks a bunch.
No problem. Appreciate it. So guys, I'll start with you, George, real quick. Basically, what was the impetus for starting a series, the Syndicate Wars, and basically, how did you get to working with Justin and also Kyle Noe? Is it Kyle Noe? Noe?
Yes, correct. So
how'd that come about?
So we actually was friends with Kyle, actually, in developing a TV show with him with Sony. It's an FBI TV show. So I've known Kyle for several years. And he put me in touch with Justin, and we were all talking about the fact that we love, the books in this space, sort of the Space Marine subgenre. We're big fans of it. We read a lot of the books. The Michael Anderle writes some really great books. Jay Allen writes great books. There's tons of people who are writing really good books right now. We love those kind of books. We love Guardians of the Galaxy. We love sort of the snarky humor with some of the really good action. And we wanted to try to come up with something with a unique hook. And we think we did that with this series, because we've got a really cool time travel hook that's going to be explored as you continue on in the series. And I've written scripts in Hollywood and sold stuff to Paramount that Michael Bay's producing, and I know a good hook when I see one. And I thought this was a really unique way to enjoy those kind of books that we all like, but with a little bit different twist on it. And that's what really excited me. And Kyle put me in touch with Justin, and it sort of just snowballed from there.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome indeed. And obviously, I'm a big fan as well. There's some great space opera books that are out there that have been produced, obviously in the Halo series, the very well-known series as well, Contact Harvest, and so many other books that are out there. Justin, how can you relate some of those books to what you guys have done? And also as well, let people know exactly what Syndicate Wars is all about.
Sure. And I'll step back a step too and say that Kyle and I are both Marines. We served in the Marines. I was in for 5 years. Kyle, something like that, probably 5 years. Then he went up into the FBI thing. So we have that personal flavor already. Back in the 90s, we'd sit around playing Halo all day in our SCIF, the Central Information Facilities. Oh, yeah. Good times. That was back in the 90s.
That LAN right there.
Yeah, the LAN parties for sure.
Yes.
And then what system was out back then? I don't remember. This was like 99, 2000.
Original
2001,
Xbox.
somewhere around there. Yeah, the original Xbox. Those are the good old days. So that's where a lot of this stems from. And then I went off to work on video games like Tales from the Borderlands, which is quite different, but has the same level of humor, Guardians of the Galaxy style stuff going on. Little toddler just ran in here. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
He thinks it's hilarious. Yeah, so going into all of that and then reading these books, we just started thinking, what would be cool if we have some kind of thing that could target our Marine-ness, our Space Marines, and sorry about that. I got an orange egg, everybody.
We have a third collaborator.
There you go.
My
Indeed.
son,
And it's not Kyle on this occasion.
That's not,
Yeah,
unless he's
it's not Kyle.
gone back in time.
Yeah. So we started looking at that, just like, where we came from and how we can incorporate that into the fiction that's already doing well. And with Michael Anderle, we were writing this like sci-fi vampire kind of goes up into space type stuff, which is a little bit different. And so we said, okay, let's take out the vampire aspect because that's already something we're doing, and let's add in time travel. And then there was a really big hook that I don't want to tell you what it is because that gives away kind of the series. about when we were like, what if we do this aspect of time travel? And then everybody started going, yeah. And then Kyle comes up with a 6-page outline, or a 6-book outline with like thousands of pages, and just off
Yeah,
of that
it was like a 30,000-page outline that it came out. So it was something significant, immense.
Mm-hmm. Well, I noticed already online you're able to get 3 of these series already, which amazing that you guys released it seemingly all at once, correct?
3 books, yeah. So the first book went live, and the second 2 are actually pre-release, but not very far apart. So there's 2 weeks between book 1 and 2, and then a month between book 2 and 3.
So definitely, just almost back to back indeed. And George, tell me a little bit more about the process that you guys went through when it comes to, let's say, coming up together with those ideas. Because since it's not one singular person writing it, sometimes there can be a little bit as far as different ideas clashing together to create a full concept, correct?
Well, yeah, exactly. And so Kyle came up with an excellent outline that was sort of the blueprint that we worked from. It can be challenging when you have 3 people working from a book. The first book was more challenging, I think, than the other books will be. The second book has been pretty easy to do. But, you always make changes. And what you want to do is I always outline the books as if they're a script. So you have sort of the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then you have your set pieces. Things that people expect. And so once you do that, once you hit on those beats, and I call them beats, I mean, that's sort of what we call in the screenplay world. Once you hit on those beats that you want to hit, and everybody agrees on those beats, then we just go off and we write the book. So I wrote a majority of the first 2 books, and then we're going to sort of switch off as we move forward. And what I would do is I would write, say 60,000 words or something like that, hitting all of the beats that I wanted. And then I would pass it off to Justin and Kyle, and they would do significant revisions. But it was all good because we sort of knew exactly where we wanted to end up. And once we hit those beats, we were really satisfied with, where we were going.
Justin, obviously that's a good thing to talk about, George, as far as the way you guys got it all patterned out, and the collaboration seems like it's almost seamless the way you guys transition your thoughts between each other as far as the series is concerned. Justin, there is one individual I do want to talk about when it comes to Syndicate Wars, and so I want to hear more about one of your lead characters, Quinn.
So Quinn is cool. She actually started off as it's funny how these stories evolve, right? She started off as just a straight up Marine, right? She's a female Marine. She's up there kicking butt. And then I think we were like 3/4 of the way through the writing phase of book 1, where one of us was like, she has a daughter. She has a daughter that's back on Earth. She joined the Marines. What happens early on is the Marines all get taken by the alien force, the Syndicate, and forced to fight for them. And it's like this whole thing where the biotech armor, and if they try to pull the trigger against somebody else, their head explodes type thing, so good times. But the whole point is she has this daughter back on Earth that she, while trying to play along, and this is why she does play along, because if you're in that situation, maybe you say screw it, kill yourself, whatever, try to fight back any way you can. But she wants to get back to her daughter any way possible, and I think that's what makes her really strong.
Awesome.
And we get to see some of that daughter in book 2. Quite fun.
There you go. That's good, and that's something. If anybody's out there, I tell you what, first off, and I mentioned this to George briefly before we went on the air, there is no excuse for sci-fi fans and obviously good book fans to not get the series, because it is available right now on Amazon okay, get this price, everyone, 99 cents each for each book. Okay, I'll say that again because people are expecting like 15. Because people are $15, $20, they're having to dish out a lot of money, whip out that credit card. It's 99 cents. There is no reason why you shouldn't be able to get into a great series, Syndicate Wars, right now.
We wanted to make it accessible. I mean, that's really we wanted to make it accessible.
99 cents. How more accessible okay, free, but how more accessible can you really get than 99 cents? There is no excuse.
On that note, we do have a short story spinoff that's free on InstaFreebie right now, so you can grab it. If it's only like 15 pages, but it's the story of the daughter and how she was reacting when the Syndicate invasion occurred. So
and that's on InstaFreebie that you say?
Yeah, InstaFreebie. So you can go to my website, justinsloanauthor.com, and find it there. And then we're going to raise the prices on these other ones, of course, especially books 2 and 3. But we figure while they're on pre-order and probably the first couple days that they go live, and then it's going to go up to $3.99. So probably around, if you get in before July, mid-July to late July, you'll probably be safe.
Oh, that's awesome indeed. So that is Syndicate Wars, is available right now. Three novels that are out there, 99 cents. on Amazon. Go and get them today. And I'll tell you what, you need to get into the series because it really sounds awesome. I know a lot of people out there are looking for that next great sci-fi adventure to get into because Halo's a little long in the tooth. There's also Star Trek, Star Wars. We all see those iterations year after year after year, which is great because I love them so much myself. But like you guys say on your own Facebook, it's just you're looking for that next great soap opera to get into. You want to start right here with Syndicate Wars. Guys, it's been a great pleasure having you on the PCC Multiverse. I'm going to actually have you guys on later this month on one of our shows to talk even more in detail about the great series of books called Syndicate Wars.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, guys. And we're back. This is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos. Appreciate it ever so much being a part of the actual show here today. And I'll tell you what, these guys are coming back to us right here. They've done a great job with a great series of books entitled Syndicate Wars. It's available right now on Amazon.com for the amazing price of 99 cents each for the first 3 books in this series. That's 99 cents each. And I have 2 of the authors here today. I have George Mahaffey and Justin Sloan. Guys, thanks for coming back on the show. We truly appreciate it. First off, I got to ask you, Justin, what's the response been so far as Syndicate Wars is concerned, the fan feedback, as far as you don't have to go into numbers per se if you don't want to, but how is Amazon how is it doing well on Amazon? What's the comments like? Tell us about the feedback for such a great series like Syndicate Wars.
Yeah, I've actually been blown away. In my publishing days, I've had some really good successes, and I've had some books that just go out there and flop, right? So you kind of never know what you're going to get. And when these hit the market, it's been a roller coaster of fun. A lot of times my books will hit high up in the rankings and then kind of slowly dwindle. These hit okay in the rankings and then have been steadily getting better and better, which has been awesome. So we're on day 13 or 14 after launching book 1, and it just keeps getting more page reads. We're getting like 25,000 page reads a day, selling, I don't remember how many books, but around 150 to 250, depending on the day, books, which isn't like, insane, but it's good. It's not bad. And because of that,
and once word gets out even more, I can see the sales and obviously the reads get even higher and higher, correct?
Yeah. And that's what's been happening is word of mouth has just been spreading because people keep emailing us and people keep posting on their Facebook pages and whatnot, and they're loving it, which is, like I said, awesome. They're really connecting with the characters. There's especially Quinn and her daughter, and then there's Giovanni. He has a different sort of relationship going on. And so we've been ranking #1 in sci-fi under LGBT, and we're #2 in colonization, and #3 in, I think, genetic engineering today. So it's been going great. Top 500. I think we were at 450 at some point, and having a great blast.
That's awesome. And if you're just joining us, Syndicate Wars is a series of books. Syndicate Wars is a series of books that are available on Amazon that basically, if you're looking for that next space opera that deals with space marines fighting all the challenges that are out there in the galaxy, please give this a try. Amazon.com for 99 cents each for the first 3 novels. George, tell me a little bit more about maybe the plans as far as what you have mapped out in broad detail.
Sure.
Don't have to tell me, obviously specific details because we want people to read the many books. But what does Syndicate Wars hold for the future?
Well, we've got 6 books planned, but not only do we have the 6 books planned, but so we've sort of created this universe that's without giving away too much. There's the really cool time travel hook that we have built into the books also sort of has birthed the idea that there are these time loops, that there are sort of these worlds, these events happening within the universe. And so what we've done is Justin and I have some additional books that are coming out that are going to be within the same universe, different characters, different times. The first 3 books are going to be called Blood Runners. And then there's going to be an additional 2 books, and those are going to start coming out, I think, in the middle of June, around June 24th or so. Justin knows specifically.
June 23rd. Yeah, it's actually on pre-order right now. So
and so those are called Blood Runners, book 1, 2, and 3. And you'll see references to the events in Syndicate Wars and that. And then after that, there's 2 books that happen before the events in Syndicate Wars, and those books are going to be called Broken Road. And that's right now we've got 2 books done for that. Different characters, but really some sort of cool ways that we weave things together. And then
but
the
it's
Great Hope.
In the same universe, correct?
It's all in the same universe. The Great Hope is that we will be able to bring it all together at the very end of the day. Now that's going to be later on in the future, but we've sort of mapped out how we're going to be able to bring sort of everybody together. That's our great hope. That would be awesome if we could do that, because it'd be really cool.
Awesome, because it sounds like you're creating a whole big, wide universe. I know everybody's into universes these days, movie-wise.
They are.
It's what we talk about almost every week on the show, who's doing a universe next.
Yeah.
But, in this case, it's really, fitting that you guys are creating this whole universe, and with the time shifting element as well, that's creating something that's very unique, that's very interesting.
It is,
indeed.
And it's tricky. Look, I wrote a script several years back that The Rock was going to star in, that was sort of had a time travel hook. He obviously didn't do it, but time travel can be tricky. And, there's some suspension of disbelief you have to have as a reader, because you can't get everything perfectly, stitched up and when you're dealing with time travel. But I think we've found a way to make it really cool and different from some of the other stuff that you're reading.
Awesome indeed. Justin, I also wanted to ask, okay, he's not here today, but what contributions, you were talking about on a previous episode, you guys, about what Kyle has done as far as his relationship with the actual series itself. Since this is such a unique concept with 3 individuals actually contributing majorly to the Syndicate Wars, what contributions has Kyle actually made as far as how important, how much of a key is he to what you guys are doing as well?
Yeah, he's instrumental. I also want to mention Andreas. I think his last name is Manager. He's from Sweden. He's doing all the covers, and they've just been. I don't know if you guys can. I don't know how much people watch the show versus listen to the show, and you can even see that. But he's been doing these great sci-fi ones of like all these people running from spaceships, and they're Marines, and it's badass. And then so like I mentioned, Kyle was in the Marines as I was. Similar time, we were both in intelligence, and he's been going through and doing the outlines and focusing on this time travel element. And you can feel the fact that he was in the Marines in these outlines and in the story and in the plot and all the characters. And so when he gives us an outline that George writes most of it, like we talked about early on, it's already very much there. And then what I come in and add is more of that. I worked on like Game of Thrones and some of these video games out there, and really focus on the character in all of those places. Everything is like character, kind of player agency. So then I try to add on a little bit of that, like the readership getting into the point of view of those characters when I go at it.
And that's been the big help, the big difference that I've seen, because it's a entirely different animal when you're writing a script versus writing a book. And for some reason, a lot of writers, we sort of we tend to write things a little bit more in a darker sense when we're writing books. And Justin was smart that he brought things back, because nobody wants to read a book and get depressed. Nobody wants to read a book that all it is gore and people getting blown up every 2 seconds. You need to have a balance, and you need to do something that's going to be appealing to most people. And Justin's excellent at that. And Kyle, like Justin said, was able to come up with an outline where we're able to work off of it and and sort of fill in the details and do it a little bit differently, I think. And some people might not like it, and it's all good, because reading a book is very subjective, and we get it, and that's cool. But it's a little bit different than some of the other books out there, because both of these guys actually served, and they know what the hell they're talking about. And they got a little bit different perspective than some of the other folks who were putting some really great books out.
Yeah, and the difference is we came up with this because we loved it, right? Like some people will write books because they're like, I'm going to write a space opera because they're selling. But we were like coming at it from the character point of view and coming from our expertise. And I think that hopefully makes a difference as well.
Oh, that's awesome indeed. I was just going to say that, the what you guys have planned and mapped out, it's obviously been very carefully thought out. The entire umbrella, the entire universe of what you guys have planned. It's very exciting that you're seeing the beginnings of what could be something that's potentially very, very, very big in the sci-fi community. And I just want to commend you both and Kyle for creating this universe for fans out there, because it looks like something that's really promising. And I'll tell you what, at 99 cents for the first 3 novels, I'll tell you what, there's just no excuse why you shouldn't be able to get into it. It's awesome. It's right there, available on Amazon.com. And guys, before we let you go, or before also we do some plugging as well, because I know you got a podcast to talk about as well. I want to hear your thoughts real quick on exactly what hopes you have for audiences, both, you know, as far as whether it's multimedia, whether it's just reading. What do you have? What hopes do you have for when somebody sits down to take a look into more the concept of Syndicate Wars? And Justin, I'll start with you.
Yeah, well, like we mentioned, since we're building this big universe, and I'm already talking to one author who's pretty legit, who wants to get involved, so that'd be pretty cool. But that idea that like you could just get into this and have something to keep going with, you know, it's not just you read a book or two and you're done, but you can have a whole world that you read the 6 books, you love it, you get into the next series of books, you love it, and you could just keep going. And that's what I love when I read a book. You know, I read Brandon Sanderson, and I love it because it just never stops, because he just keeps writing and writing, and it's so long and it's amazing. And that's what we want to provide. You know, we're going to provide them little snippets. Little, like each of our books are about 350 pages, somewhere in that range, depending. I think the first one is 275. And so we're not like coming out with stuff that's going to overwhelm you right away, but we're going to keep coming with books, and we want to keep you happy as a reader, so that you like never feel like you're waiting for the next book to come out. Like George R. R. Martin, I love you, but you know, you get that feeling like, where's the next book, buddy? But we want to just keep plowing them forward, you know.
That sounds like my co-host Josh Peterson. His second novel's been delayed. That's coming out this day. It's coming out this day, and I love to prod him and kid him like, when is it coming out? When is it coming out? But that's great indeed. George, I want to ask you the same question as well. What do you hope that audiences will take from the concept that you guys created?
I hope this is a buzzword that they use a lot when you're in Hollywood, and is refreshingly familiar. And I hope that these books are, you know, you read them, and they're, number one, they're balanced, and they're balanced between action and character, so you don't have action fatigue. And it's similar, you know, you're reading and you're thinking, you know, this is similar to stuff I've read before, but it's a little bit different. And why is it different? Hopefully because the voice is a little bit different, because you've got some authenticity with 2 guys who were Marines. So that's number one. And then number 2, you know, hopefully I really do think, having read a lot of these books, and I'm huge fans of all the guys and women who are writing a lot of these books, other authors, and the time travel angle, I think if we do it the right way, and I think we have it mapped out and done the right way, because it is tricky, I think it's really cool, and I think that's gonna distinguish it. So I think, you know, if you also like sort of time travel stuff, and the idea of time loops, and, you know, changing events and stuff like that, I hope that, you know, sort of that's what you get out of the book where you're reading it, and you think, you know, I love these kind of books, and this one's a little bit different, and this is a little unique. And that's my hope. I mean, you know, we might not get there, and some people again could read it and think, oh, this, you know, I don't like it, and that's cool. It's all good. But you know, we're trying to write for people that want to read something a little bit different than maybe what some other folks are writing. So that's my hope.
That's awesome indeed. Well, again, that is George Mahaffey and Justin Sloan, who, along with Kyle No, created the great series of books Syndicate Wars, that's now available on Amazon.com. That's Amazon.com for only 99 cents for the first 3 novels each. That's 99 cents each for the first 3 novels that are out there. Guys, as I just said, like I said, Justin, I know there's a podcast you want to plug, so I really appreciate it. Everybody loves a great podcast to listen to. I hopefully think that's ours as well. But basically, so tell me exactly what podcasts and what do you guys? It's your time to shill. Please let us know more about
what you guys. Justin.
Yeah, well, so the podcast, so like I mentioned, the website, justinsloanauthor.com, I put a lot of links to all these things in there, along with free books and whatnot. So if you want to get free books, sign up there and I'll give you some links. Email us. We have some like readers lists. If you like, oh, 99 cents is cool, but I still am broke and I just can't even afford that, email us and get on the readers list. You know, we'll send you free copies, and you can, if you feel like it, leave a review, and that's awesome. And there's no pressure. We prefer you support us. That's always great, but we're happy to support people who just want to read the books. And then, so we have a podcast. It's called Creative Writing Career. I do that with my buddy Kevin and my other buddy Stefan. Stefan was at Pixar for 14 years. He's down in LA now doing some awesome stuff. He was a creative director at Telltale for a while, working on Game of Thrones and some other properties. And Kevin has another show out there. And so we're a great trio. Usually it's just me lately because it's just kind of how it's evolved. But we've had Nicholas Sensbury Smith on there. We're going to get Isaac Cook on at some point, who does also Space Marine type mech stories. We're going to have Amy Duboff on really soon, who's pretty big in space opera. George was on there recently, you know, so lots of great guests.
It was good times, man.
Thanks.
Awesome. No, that's awesome indeed. And George, do you have anything that you want to plug before we head on?
Yeah, other than just I have a number of other books on Amazon. You can just go on Amazon and look for George Mahaffey, and I've got post-apocalyptic books. I've got horror books. I'm sort of transitioning into the kind of stuff that we're doing now, the Space Marine stuff. But I'm also sort of still keeping my foot in the post-apocalyptic world. So there's some really cool books there. People are interested. I'm not as I do have my website as well. I'm not as tech savvy as Justin is, only because my time is very limited being a lawyer, unfortunately, still. So I'm trying to balance that along with having a 3-year-old kid, and it's not easy, but I'm doing the best I can do. So
yeah, I hear you. I've got 2 kids
though.
myself.
Yeah,
right.
I actually just went full time. So as far as like time, today was my first day as an actual full-time writer. So it's pretty crazy experience.
Well, congratulations.
And it's cool. Like George mentioned, he did some darker stuff. Thanks. He did some darker stuff. So if you want to like lighter stuff too, but darker, or then you can go to some of my like the Reclaiming Honor series with Michael Anderle, and that's like just like fist pumping, kicking butt the whole time, almost like superhero.
Those are great books. Those are awesome books. I mean, those are the books that sell tons and tons. I mean, Justin and Michael Anderle are like the dream team, man. So.
And I can't wait to see what Kyle comes up with when he does his own series. You know, when he does a spinoff as well.
And not only look for their books on Amazon by Justin Sloan and George Mahaffey, but also if they can, for the latest updates on Syndicate Wars, they can also go to Syndicate Wars on Facebook and Syndicate Wars on Twitter. Is that correct?
Yeah, if you go to Facebook, it's just facebook.com/Syndicate Wars. So pretty easy there.
Very easy.
Yeah. Twitter, I've just been using my own Twitter handle, which is Justin M. Sloan with M as in Michael. We should probably set that up. We just haven't. I think Facebook is a really good way for us to interact with fans and readers and co-authors. So probably the best route to go.
Absolutely, indeed. Well, once again, that's Justin Sloan and George Mahaffey, who along with Kyle No have created the outstanding series, which you can get today, the first 3 books in it, that is Syndicate Wars, available right now on Amazon.com for, get this, 99 cents for each for the first 3 novels in the series. Guys, it's been a unique pleasure having you on the show 2 times this month. I truly appreciate it. And also, you guys are welcome back if you guys want to, publicize anything at all. Please, I appreciate it. You're always welcome back. If you want to talk about your books, all your projects, and anything else you want to talk about, you're always welcome back on the Pop Culture Cosmos and PCC Multiverse.
We would love to. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Awesome. Thank you indeed, guys. And thank you so much for being part of the Pop Culture Cosmos.